Welcome. Hey guys, I am Davey Wavey, creator of Himeros.tv, and today I am joined by San Francisco sex coach Finn Deerhart and my best friend Matthew Thomas. And today we are talking about gay sex, and in particular, all the fabulous ways that you can have it. Let's get started.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Well, good to see both of you guys.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
Yeah, you were having some testicular difficulties last time, huh, Matt?
We tried like three different locations to try to make it work. It wasn't happening.
Yeah, it was a slow internet problem. Cool. Well, awesome to have you. As we do every week, we're going to chat about the new videos that are on Himeros.tv. And we're also going to answer some of the questions that you guys have. So you can either ask them in the chat. I see that people are already tuning in. Or you can send them to me through email. We're going to get started by talking about the first of two videos that I uploaded to Himeros.tv this week. And the first one was called Underwear Sex, featuring Blake Mitchell and Joey Mills. If you're not a member, you guys probably haven't seen it. But if you do go to Himeros.tv, you can watch a free preview to at least get a little taste, kind of wet the palate. So Finn, can you give us a little overview about that video?
Yeah. We see the two guys just having fun outside. It looks like it was like a hot day, playing in a really fun, innocent, exploratory way with like the water hose and getting really wet and then body contact with each other and no agenda. Like it had just a relaxed, sunny afternoon feel, and neither one of them was taking any particular posturing. It was just like explore and touch and flow, and they end up in a hammock together. My favorite part actually is when they're flipped upside down with each other and like their cocks are on each other's hearts. It's really beautiful.
It's called Heart 69.
So beautiful.
Was this a new position to you?
Yeah, actually it was.
Yeah, it was invented by Brad Amberhart, who's the Tantra coach that worked on it. He actually invented it the night of the election in 2016. He and his partner like really wanted to console and support each other, and that's how Heart 69 was born. So you can thank Trump for it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's connected to everything.
So Matt, I want to get your impression of the video. First at kind of like face value, like what you liked, what you didn't like, but also if it conveyed any message to you.
I think that for me watching it, it just kind of reminded me of just this idea of like wanting to be with somebody on a Sunday afternoon, chill, nothing to do, and just enjoy each other. There's no rush to have sex. It's just, I'm free today. I can chill out. Let's just explore each other's bodies and just have fun. I really enjoyed the video. For me, I'm not necessarily like the tighty whitey type, but that aside, like, I don't know. I thought it was very well done. It was cool. It was still hot. I didn't realize what Finn was saying about their cocks on each other's hearts. I'm like, I didn't even catch that. But thinking back, I'm like, oh wow, yeah, that's pretty cool too. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you if you had an underwear fetish, but I'm guessing no.
Maybe not tighty whities, but you know, some other things. Like I like stuff that with like what is that that kind of like jersey material that like that mesh, something with like a zipper, just something that's kind of like fun and intricate and different and has like a lot of color. I don't know.
It's such a prissy queen.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah. So that's one layer of the video, is that we're obviously playing to people that have like the tighty whitey fetish. There's a huge demographic and like community of people that like tighty whities. And I think it's probably, there's like this nostalgic element that reminds people of like their childhood and like the underwear that their parents would buy them from like Walmart or Target. The like generic Hanes or Fruit of the Loom. I remember the Fruit of the Looms. And when we were filming it, our director has a really big tighty whitey fetish. So in solidarity of both the models and what we were filming, everyone on set put tighty whities on. while we were filming it. We kind of like pulled it on over our pants and our shorts and whatever. And it was cute. I can tell you though, like for me, like the underwear was kind of the fun part of the video, but there was a point to the video. And it kind of reminds me of something that we were asked last week. Finn, someone had asked a question. They were saying, like, how can you introduce spontaneity in sex? And for me, what this video represented was all the different ways to have sex that don't involve like sticking your dick inside someone's ass or sticking your dick inside someone's mouth. It was kind of like non-penetrative ways to explore connection. Like there was no anal douching involved for what they demonstrated. And of course, one of the methods was, the Heart 69, but they did eye contact, they made out, they played with each other's feet. There was wrestling, there was playfulness. There's, a million and one ways to connect with someone that doesn't involve fucking them, I guess. Does that make sense?
Totally. Of course.
Finn, you have a partner. So when you guys connect, is it solely about like sucking and fucking? And like, how do you guys get intimate?
I love that question because it's been a growth process. Because like when I first got with him a few years ago, it really had a lot of those hallmarks. They're like about sucking and fucking and trying to be a thing, and having opened that up together with each other, have found that it's not about that. And now it can be anything, kind of like that video shows. And we connect like that all the time, just because it's like I'm wanting to have that sexual energy moving through me. And if it's always just about sucking and fucking and getting off, that kind of limits the frequency that I can be in play, the intensity that can be built up, and the anticipation of wanting more, which I think is really important. And we fluff that up all the time.
Yeah. Why do you think it is that it feels like, at least in the gay world, that the only currency of connection is like having to penetrate someone's kind of open question for either of you guys?
I feel like it's all we know. It's what we're introduced to. I mean, porn is the first, at least for me, it was my first example of what sex is. And I thought that was the only way to have sex. I mean, it never occurred to me to think about this idea of intimacy. I just knew sex. And there's so much more to it than just having sex.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I also feel too, like I'm speaking for myself and just also a belief system that I have, that it's like we want this intensity, we want vulnerability, and we want all these things that are challenging. So like fucking can take us into this emotionally raw place that we want and need to express in. So it can get hung up around those acts too, like needing to have a validation of some kind to feel good enough, or, to soothe myself somehow, or all kinds of things.
Yeah. I mean, I've literally talked to guys on Grindr where like I've said, hey, like, I would love to meet up. Like, by the way, I'm not looking to get fucked today. And they're like, oh, well, like not interested. Even if I'm like, oh, I'll suck your dick, or like we can make out, or we can, do whatever. If you're not down to fuck, they're like, oh yeah, no, like I can't be bothered. It's like, really?
Yeah. It carries a lot of meaning. Like that act has so much meaning. And I think it's like kind of a reversal of shame for a lot of guys too. It's like this defiant act against sexual norms that have kind of felt confining. And but the truth is, like, it's all fucking, I think. And that's what feels right to me now. And it did take time to let that go. And now I just really enjoy all the different ways that I can be sexual.
Yeah, it's expanding that definition of fucking.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I love that about the video too, because they really show that, and then they rub the feet. It was really sweet.
Well, don't you think like it's also the idea of, changing your point of view and thinking it's not about coming? I think that's the first thing.
Totally.
Because that's that's the whole point why it's always about the sex and the fucking, is that they just want to hurry up and come. They don't want to actually enjoy the experience and just be present.
Yeah.
That's like the number one criticism that we get from folks on Himeros.tv is like, they're like, we want more cum. Like every video needs to have cum in it. And we're like, like sometimes there's cum in the videos and sometimes there's not. And there's a lot of reasons for that, like including if we're on set and like it just doesn't seem like a cum shot is going to happen. Like we're not gonna like force the models to like ejaculate like so that we get like some cum shot. But they do that on a lot of porn sets. So it's like we laugh, but it's like this really kind of fucked up reality because everyone's so conditioned to seeing that cum. And if they don't get it, then like they're not satisfied.
Yeah.
What do porn stars that have been a part of your videos say about their experience being on your set versus doing porn?
So a couple things. I mean, they can't believe how well that we treat them. which by that I mean that we treat them like humans. like they all have their own bedrooms. We have like really great food. They get paid like a fair livable wage. All those things don't generally happen in a lot of mainstream porn. So they're really surprised by it. But we're also asking for them to do something different, which is to be vulnerable. And we really like what we're showing is not acting, and which hence not having forced cum shots. We're showing something that's authentic. And I think if you're going to do that, you really need the models to feel safe. So it's a very different atmosphere, and they're kind of like surprised by it, but then they tell all their friends. And then, so I get emails from people saying that they want to be models for us. Speaking of getting emails, I want to share this because maybe our number one complaint is that there's not enough cum shots, but the number two complaint is about my voice as a voiceover in the videos. Wow. Because I sound like a girl. So people are always like, oh, you need to get new narrators, which, by the way, in some upcoming videos, there is a different narrator and he's delightful. However, I got an email today from Derek who said, I came 4 times today watching Jack Off for Clarity. Amazing video with your sexy voice that made me shoot harder than I ever have. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Derek.
I have to say, I really love your voice on the videos is comforting. I like it. I'm like, oh, David's talking about this thing, and I totally agree, and I love that. Wow, and it's like it feels personal.
I go back and forth because I think a lot of people that are members of the site are people that have watched my YouTube stuff, and so I want, even if I'm not in the video, for them to feel like I'm on this journey with them.
Yeah.
So doing the narration is part of that. But I played a video for a friend this weekend, and he's like, that woman has such a nice voice. And I was like, that woman is me. But I do this very like, how much pleasure does your cock bring you? This very like whispery, sultry voice. I'm going to start doing that in real life. I would like to place an order for a cheese pizza. Anyway, so before we get to the second video, another thing that kind of came up for me with the underwear sex video, this has come up a few times with things that we filmed, is that like this video in particular made me feel nostalgic as fuck. Matt was kind of saying this. It's like that Sunday afternoon, like in the summer where like the sun just doesn't set. And also like the way they filmed it, it's very golden and like it just feels like almost this like magical moment. It's like the I don't know, like the gay paradise of summer that like I didn't have as a closeted gay boy growing up in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
So when I watch it, especially some of those like slow motion shots of like the water spraying, like I just have feelings and I'm sharing them.
Totally. I agree.
Yeah. And they're very boyish. So it kind of taps into that.
It does. It's free. It's like, it's like freedom. And they're expressing this freedom that I also didn't have.
Oh, I was like, no, it's a membership site thing.
It's actually not. Yeah, but it's like, it's so cool because it is boyish. And that's like when we first started like noticing and wanting to explore those things. And at that time and not being able to do that, watching it be done, it was kind of a healing event to see them. I'm like, oh, that's how I've always been on the inside, even when I didn't get to do that at that age.
Yeah. Yeah. We had 2 separate crew members on the set came up to me and they were like, is Joey 18? Like, yeah. He's actually 19. Actually, maybe 20, but yes. All right. So
youthful.
Moving on to video number 2. I think I'll introduce this one. this was kind of a special video for us. I uploaded it as a bonus, and it's called "Why We Fuck." So basically, while we were in North Carolina filming the aforementioned underwear sex video and a handful of other videos that are now all up on the site, we asked the models to like speak their intention into a voice recorder before we filmed each scene. So, I mean, it was basically a question of like, to whom or to what are you going to dedicate your sexual energy to? The guys all had different intentions, but a lot of them kind of related to, I would say, like that their sex was dedicated to the joy of gay men everywhere. That would be kind of like the overarching theme. So we uploaded this as a bonus video, and what you see are scenes from all the different videos that we filmed in North Carolina, and you hear voiceovers of the guys in those scenes articulating what their intention was for that scene. I really want to ask Matt about this because I feel like you are not like the new age type. I can get into some of this shit, but I feel like for you, like this would be a stretch. But what did you think of hearing the guys' intentions?
I thought it was great, actually. I thought it was just a wonderful celebration of sex.
Also, you were watching this in a Mexican restaurant, right?
The first time. I was in a corner. No one could see what I was doing on my phone. I was safe. It was fun. But yeah,
all the time.
But I thought it was just a great celebration of gay sex. I would say that for me, a lot of this content is something that I've never seen before. It's you're showing it in a way that I think most people haven't seen before. And it's really just celebrating us and celebrating sex, which is a beautiful thing. And I think people are afraid to say that. So for me, I sit back and I watch and I'm just like, wow, like it's okay to talk about. It's okay to just enjoy and be proud of. Like even watching the other video, like not to take a step back, but I can't say enough how much it was just an escape, just like a daydream. Like that's just the way it was shot to me watching it. It was really, really beautiful, both of them. So I enjoyed it.
Did you realize, Matt, that the guys were speaking like their intentions for the sex that they were having when you were watching it?
I don't think I necessarily realized. No, yeah. I knew it was for what was going on in the moment. I knew it was that person talking and their experience. Yeah.
Is that like you've never done that in sex before, like made an intention?
I mean, I've made an intention, nothing like that. I mean, I've said like, I'm gonna fuck the shit out of you tonight. That's my intention.
That is
So, Finn, I know that you loved it because you made a comment on the video on Himeros.tv. I feel like this is kind of up your alley. What did you like about it, I guess?
Well, that we were just talking about the intentionality, and also just like that it contained like all those different voices and all those different perspectives in the same video. So it was a spectrum of people's wishes and desires, and it made me feel connected to the grander context of all of us in a way, just to having all those different perspectives reflected simultaneously.
Do you think that's something like intentions are a practice that people could regularly engage in before sex, or that they should engage in before sex?
Absolutely. Yeah. It kind of depends on with whom you're having sex, like how much you want to flesh it out, but it could just be a simple acknowledgement in the moment. If it's like a really anonymous type thing, just an acknowledgement of something between you two and bring you into the same like psychic space with each other. Or it could be like this teased away and really like ceremonial type thing that we see Brad do in videos sometimes, where he's making a formal declaration of that intention, and it could be whatever. I think it's about acknowledgement and bringing people into presence instead of just kind of being in like your own world, doing the thing with each other, being like in a shared reality is what it feels like to me.
Yeah. If someone's gonna like, so I guess sex aside, like if you're gonna jerk off, like I'm opening up like Pornhub to like rub one out, like is that still an opportunity to like make an intention? Matt's saying yes. Matt's shaking his head.
Totally. Yeah. I think if someone, you know why? Because I think if we tune in and we get some awareness around why am I reaching out to this right now? Like, what is it that I'm wanting? Actually, often we can find underlying needs there, and not just shooting the load that we're wanting to get off, but there's something else there that's driving that, and so that has rich with information. So bringing some presence to what am I doing right now gives me the opportunity to really go deeper with like, well, what do I want more than this? On top of this, what is it that I'm really needing emotionally?
Yeah, that's actually it's an opportunity to kind of like turn one's attention inward. I mean, on one hand, like I can't imagine like waking up at 3:00 in the morning and being like, oh man, I need to jerk off. Like I'm going to dedicate this load to the freedom of gay people everywhere.
Right.
or to like, or to some dream that I have, or to like my dead grandmother's soul or something. But, but on the other hand, like I hear what you're saying, and like any change that we make in our life begins with an intention. And if intention is the seed, then your sexual energy is like the most powerful fertilizer that there is.
Totally. And I think there's a way, like you were saying, yeah, if you wake up in the middle of the night, or if I like wake up and my partner and I start having sex, it's not like we have to like stop the flow and the spontaneity and stop and make a thing, but you can also just be the intention without having to state it verbally, like being really dedicated to self, to be present in what's going on, and like making space for what comes up in yourself, and not like, shunning yourself or shaming.
Just be the intention.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, cool. So those are our videos. We're going to dive into some questions that folks at home sent us, or questions in general. This first question is in regards to why we fuck. The question is, how does one dedicate his sexual energy? And I don't know the answer to that. I'm hoping, Finn, you might.
Yeah, I'm looking to Finn too.
Well, I think it's kind of, we were just touching on it a little bit, so it's a good dovetail, because being present, it's like, how do I dedicate my energy? Well, I have to be aware, and I want to like cultivate awareness in that context. So the guys that were in the video were saying that they were dedicating it to men everywhere, and to like the men that one that really touched me was to the men that weren't able to do this openly, that now, and hoping and dedicating this to the ones that can. I think it's connecting to a context. So just by shifting your awareness to a greater context, it probably trickles out in your life, and it makes you maybe make choices that connect you more with other people over the similar passions and beliefs and concepts, and it's all interwoven. So being in touch with yourself, and where you still need some love for yourself, and helping yourself along in that way by bringing sexual energy there too. Well,
that's definitely above my pay grade. Do you have anything to add to that, Matt?
Well, you said it in the video, or somebody said it in the video about, I think it was, one of them said dedicating that to his own self-love and learning for that day. And I thought, I was really touched by that one too.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because I think if I have applied it to myself in any way, I think when I first start jerking off, all you know is rub your dick out and come. And I think that as I've gotten older, I've learned to actually touch myself like all over, to actually like enjoy the sense of touch, honoring myself. I never used to do that. It used to be just rub one out and be done. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's almost like you're honoring yourself and your body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's so many ways to bring your body pleasure. How many millions and millions of nerve endings do we have everywhere? And like, why not take advantage of them?
Yeah. And people too, like, like one of the things I'm loving about the Himeros project is that like it is giving people permission to feel things that are different. And so if we have a lot of shame on top of our sexual impulses and our sexual feelings and all, and we can only just rub one out without even thinking about it, we're not able to feel all that. And so seeing these videos grants us permission to be like, oh, well, that I can totally relate to that. And you see these men expressing in a way that's like, oh, that's me too. And it has opened up things for me just watching the videos, and awesome conversations. And
I bet it's opened up things for you, Finn.
It has. On multiple occasions.
So our next question actually comes from me. And I had an email this week from someone who joined Himeros TV. And he said something to the effect of like, he's like, I love your mission. I love what you're doing, but like, I have some advice for you. You need to hire hotter models. And then he was like, okay, bye. And he just like sent the email. And and I remember receiving it and being like, like on one hand, kind of laughing to myself, like, oh, is that the secret? Like, I just need to hire hotter models. But he said hot as though it was some sort of like objective thing that like I could just go out and find hot guy. Like what does that even mean? And like hot obviously is something that changes from person to person. And like I don't know what my question is. I guess this is just a rant, but like is that obvious? Like, do you guys really think there's some like universal standard of hotness? And like how do you even explain that to someone?
Yeah. I feel like it's complex because, you know, there's a certain kind of cultural capital that being beautiful will give someone. It's like privilege, just like any other privileged position, but it's also defined by the culture. So it takes people wanting to like break from that and expand what they think is beautiful.
Did you write him back?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Yeah.
I said, cancel your fucking membership. I said, you're blocked. I think I explained to him that that for us, like we try to incorporate as many different ages and body types and like aesthetics as possible, and that like even if you're not inspired by what you would deem someone to be, you know, their physical hotness or in his case a lack thereof, like you would still be inspired by the concept that's being conveyed. So like there's plenty of videos where maybe the model isn't like my cup of tea, but what they're doing to me is what they're doing in the video to me is very hot to watch. So I encouraged him to kind of connect that way. And I mean, living in Palm Springs, like if there's anything that I've learned here, it's that like there is no universal definition of what is hot. I mean, like we have a lot of like bear and cub and chubby chaser events here. And like, if someone with a 6-pack walks into that situation, like they're going to be kind of ignored and over, like, that's just not what they're into. A lot of guys are into older men that are in their 60s and 70s. Like if you're some twink and you think that your youth is your currency of beauty, like that's not going to measure up here. So I don't know. It just opened my eyes to that. Lots of people have a lot of different tastes.
Totally. And I'm just hearing, well, you know, there's a lot of pressure around beauty anyway, so much pressure. And if you're beautiful, it's always a pressure to maybe lose it. And if you're not beautiful, it's like you never have it and all this power. But it's like, I mean, people, like when I hear that question that he asked, my first heart sense is like, oh, I hope that he feels like he's worthy of love and attention and that he's beautiful in his own way. But I think if we're like fixed on this outside perspective only and what it has to look like, then it might show like a little bit of need for self-love there too.
Yeah.
But I think he's also confusing the intention of what your site is. It's not just about showing just hot, ripped models. You're trying to show people from all walks of life, all types of people, and celebrate all different types of beauty. And he needs to remember that this is not Pornhub. That's not what we're here for.
Yeah. And I just, again, the permission, like I kind of feel like I've received another level of permission to accept myself just watching these videos because of exactly that. They're like people just expressing and being authentic. And I'm like, we all deserve that access in ourselves, you know?
Yeah.
Not just certain guys with a certain kind of body. I mean, they're not the only ones.
Yeah. It was one of the reasons why I thought it was really important to include like an 83-year-old model for some of the stuff that we shot in North Carolina, that like it's important for whoever someone is when they go to the site to be able to see a reflection of themselves. In addition to some of the porn stars that they follow and enjoy, but to say, oh, like this guy looks like me. This sexual ecstasy is also available to me. You don't have to have a 9-inch dick.
Yeah.
All right. Well, next question is, let's see. So I generally use spit when I'm having sex. I've tried lube many times, but I tend to get an uncomfortable feeling from it. Any suggestions on lube brands that might work for me?
I love coconut oil.
Yeah, we've used that on a lot of shoots. Why do you like it so much?
I feel good about it being natural and like an organic substance, and I like the taste of it, and it works really well. And if it needs like a little bump, the little spit on top of coconut oil is really slick. So that's how I roll.
What about you, Matt?
I mean, you turned me on to gun oil, and I've loved it ever since.
I didn't turn you on to gun oil.
I'm pretty sure you did. I'm pretty sure you told me about it.
This must have been a long ass time ago.
It was. It was. And I've stuck with it. It's done me good.
Okay, because my staple is the wet platinum, which is the silicone based lube. Just because you could use it as massage oil, you can use it like it never gets sticky. It's hard to get off your body afterwards, unlike the coconut oil, which I think you could probably just kind of like massage into you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try the coconut oil. It's also a lot cheaper than lube.
Yeah, and you can get organic coconut oil, and it's just like putting that in your body. It feels better to me. I mean, I used to really like. There's this, Mr. S Leather here in San Francisco. They make their own lube. It's like super slick silicone, and I loved that. But I just felt a little chemically to have in my ass. So, I just think like every time I do this, my body's kind of absorbing some of this somehow. Like.
Well, if you're really lucky and you're ever on a shoot with us with Brad Amberhart, he has a friend, I think he's a Cherokee friend of Brad's who like creates his own lube out of like resin from different plants and kind of like makes this really special concoction, which I've never used, but it's like, it's like worth its weight in gold.
Wow.
So yeah, there's definitely some fun alternatives out there for people to explore.
That's awesome.
Our last question is, why are some people not Himeros.tv members? The answer is, I don't know. Memberships are as little as 50 cents per day, and you guys can join at Himeros.tv. People have a hard time spelling Himeros. It's like him and then the word eros. .tv, like television, except naked. So next week, join us again. We're going to discuss the video called 6 Senses of Sex.
I'm excited about that one.
Yeah, it's a really good one. It's fun. And yeah, so thank you to Finn and thank you to Matt for being here. For everyone at home, thank you for watching. And as always, more to come. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.